Okay, so now we're on to 1.5. We're going to be talking about angle and segment addition. And I'm thinking that I may or may not do this lesson in 2 videos. So let's just see how it goes. The first thing we need to do is we've got to review solving equations. You're going to be using a lot of algebra equations in geometry this year. So if your equation skills are a little weak, or maybe you have slept over the summer and forgot them, we need to work on them. So if at any time you need help with algebraic equations, please make sure that you ask, okay? So order of operations, and we're going to be working backwards. So we have to solve the equations, all right? Now remember, backwards, we're going to use GEMDAS. Okay, so if you don't remember GEMDAS, I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. And when we're solving for the variable, we're going to undo GEMDAS. And again, I'm going to talk about that in just a minute. So we're going to go backwards. We're going to undo GEMDAS, and we're going to use what I like to refer to as SADMEG. Okay, so Megan is very sad because she has to undo all of the work she already did. Okay, so that's kind of how I remember it. So GEMDAS, we start with grouping symbols, then exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction. For SADMEG, we start with the subtraction addition, and we work our way towards the grouping symbols. All right, so now let's talk about grouping symbols. Okay. So G is grouping symbols. Okay, you might have parentheses. You might have brackets. You might have braces. You might have what we call absolute value bars. So something like that. You might have a division bar. Okay, so the division bar would be a grouping symbol. Lots of different types of grouping symbols. And you can have more than one grouping symbol, and you can have grouping symbols inside other grouping symbols. So just be mindful. So our goal is to isolate the variable, which is the letter. Okay, we want that by itself. So here's GEMDAS. Now remember, when you're simplify, you take care of your grouping symbols and your exponents. Then you're going to do any multiplication and or division. You just do whatever comes first, left to right. And then you do your addition, subtraction, left to right, whichever comes first. So you might be doing division, then multiplication. You might be doing subtraction, then addition. It doesn't really matter. But when you're solving, okay, when you're solving, you're starting with subtraction, addition, then you'll do multiplication, division, then exponents and grouping symbols. So you've got to make sure that you're going backwards. And that's why I kind of renamed it to be SADMEG, because Megan is sad that she has to redo everything or undo everything. So here we go. Let's go ahead and practice. First of all, I am not going to touch that variable. It is attached to the 2 with multiplication. I see addition. Let's undo that using subtraction. So that needs to be subtract 3, subtract 3. Those are gone. They create a 0. Okay, I don't need those. So I have 2x. I want you to bring your equal sign straight down. I should be able to follow both sides exactly. 7 minus 3 is a 4. This is multiplication. So okay, so this is multiplication. You are not going to see the little dot right in there that says 2 times x. You're just going to see 2 with x. We're going to divide by 2 because we're undoing the multiplication using division. 2 divided by 2 is 1, so I'm left with x. Bring down my equal sign again, and 4 divided by 2 is 2. This is my answer. Now, if you ever want to check your work to make sure you did it right, take your x value that you got and plug it in right there. So you can check it. So I'm going to do 2 times 2, that's this 2 right here, plus 3, and equals 7. So I took this 2 and I put it right here instead of that x. Well, I know that 2 times 2 is 4, plus 3 equals 7, and I do know that 4 plus 3 is 7. So since both sides are equal, I know that my answer is correct. I'm not going to do all of the checks for these, but that is how you check them. Okay, so now let's go to one that's a little more complicated, but not very much. Okay, again, I'm not going to touch the variable first. Don't mess with the 2 first. I'm going to undo subtraction using addition. And I'm going to add on this side. So -1 plus 1, that makes a 0. Those are gone. Bring down my equal sign. On this side, I'm left with x divided by 2. This side, I have 4 plus 1 is 5. Okay, now this is division. So to undo division, I have to multiply. So I'm going to multiply by 2 over 1. Instead of dividing by 2, I'm going to multiply by 2. And whatever I do on this side, I have to do on this side. So these are going to reduce to 1. I'm going to be left with x. Bring down your equal sign. And 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, so there we go. Let's go on to number 3. Now this says that we have 2 of these. This is a thing. We have 2 of them. So we're going to, instead of just adding and adding, we're going to just do the quick way, which is to multiply. So these are grouping symbols, and we're going to get rid of those. 2 times x. In other words, I have 2 x's. So I'm going to write down 2 times x. And then I have 2 times 2. So that is 4. And then I have my equal sign, and then 8. Just like that. All right. Don't touch your 2x. Leave it alone. We're going to undo our adding 4 with subtracting 4. Okay, so this is 0 and it's gone. Bring down your equal sign. 8 minus 4 is 4. And on this side, I still have my 2x. This is that multiplication that we talked about. So I'm going to divide by 2. If I divide by 2 there, I'm going to divide by 2 over there. 2 divided by 2 is 1. I'm left with x. Bring down your equal sign. 4 divided by 2 is 2. Okay, there we go. There's our answer. If I am going too fast on these equations, you can slow down the video. You can also pause the video and go backwards and replay. You could just pause it and let yourself catch up. So if I'm going too fast, make sure that you kind of take some steps to get what you need. All right, this is a thing. I'm not going to touch it. I do see division. So I'm taking this thing and I'm dividing it by 2. So that means I'm going to multiply by 2 over here, and I'm going to multiply by 2 over here. So those reduce to 1, and I'm left with x minus 1. Bring down my equal sign. 4 times 2 is 8. Okay, I'm going to leave that x alone. Don't touch it. I am going to add 1. Okay, so I'm undoing subtraction with addition. So this is a 0. Bring down my x, and 8 plus 1 is 9. Okay, so, now on this one, I have variables on both sides. See this? Okay. So what I have to do is I'm going to take this entire piece and I'm going to move it over there. Okay. So this is subtracting 2x. I'm going to add 2x to this side. And then I'm going to add it over here with the other x. See how I did that? And then these are going to zero out, so they're gone. 3x's plus 2x's is 5x's. Bring down your minus 7. Bring down your equal sign. Bring down your 3. Okay, so don't touch the 5x. Leave that alone. We're going to add 7. And we're going to do that on both sides. Okay, so this is 0. Get rid of that. Bring down 5x, bring down your equal sign. 3 plus 7 is 10. This is multiplication, so you're going to divide by 5. Okay, 5 divided by 5 is 1, so you're left with x equals 10 divided by 5 is 2. Okay, so basically we're going through all of these steps and we're using GEMDAS. In fact, this is division, so we have to multiply. This is subtraction, so here we had to add. So basically, we could come out to the side and justify every single step that we take. Okay, here I see subtraction, so I have to add. Here I see subtraction, so I have to add. Here I see multiplication right here, so I have to divide. Okay, so you have to be able to justify every step that you make. We ask you, why did you do that? You need to tell us why you did something. All right, now this last one. It looks a little gnarly, but when you think about it, it's really not that bad. Okay, so right here, I have 2 x's and 4 x's. Okay, so I have 2 here and I have 4 here. Well, if you really need a visual, that's 2 there and 1, 2, 3, 4 there. But if you don't need the visual, don't draw it. 2 plus 4 is 6. So I'm going to put a 6x right here. This is combining like terms. So I have my 15 and 2 plus 4 is a positive 6. So equals 45 plus 8x. Okay, so from here to here, I combined like terms, CLT. Now this one is like number 5. This is an 8x and this is a 6x. The 6 is smaller than 8. So I'm going to move 6 over here. I see addition, so let's subtract it. And I'm going to subtract it from the 8x. Remember, you can only add and subtract x's together. This is 0, and that goes away. I'm left with 15 on this side. Equal sign comes down, 45 comes down, and 8 take away 6 is 2 x's. So because I saw addition, I had to subtract. Okay, the x is now by itself. Over here, don't touch it. Here's a 45. Now this 45 is a positive 45. So to move it, I'm going to subtract 45 on both sides. Okay, so this becomes 0. I bring down my equal sign. On the right, I have 2x. And then 15 take away 45 is negative 30. Okay, so remember your plus and minus signs. All right, now negative 30. This is multiplication, so I have to divide. Okay, so I'm going to divide by a 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1. This is x. Negative 30 divided by 2, and we get negative 15. Okay, now you'll notice on all the others, the x was on the left side. Here, it's on the right side. If I take this and I just spin it 180 degrees, like in a car, I can move the x to that side. The 15 is a negative 15. I have to bring that with it. Okay, so it's the same thing. Okay. All right, so there is your review of order of operations, and it's really important that you are able to do this for our next little segment. Okay, so now let's talk about segment addition postulates. Remember, postulate is something that we just know to be true, okay? So segment addition postulate. Let's draw a diagram first. Let's see, I want you to draw a very long barbell, about like that, and put a B not in the middle, put it a little to the right. Okay, so we're going to have A here, we're going to have B here, we're going to have C here. So this is one long segment, but it has parts that made that segment up. So we have this part right here, A to B, and then we have this part here, B to C. So we have two little parts that make up the whole thing. All right, so we can say, remember, this is the truth, if point B is between, now this means like somewhere between, this doesn't mean halfway, this means somewhere between. We're going to put AC, we need our little symbol over it, because we don't want to write segment AC. We can just write this and that. Then we're going to write this. We're going to write AB and put a segment over it. So this segment over here plus the next one. So we have A to B and then B to C. This little segment and this little segment is going to equal the entire segment. Okay, so little plus little equals the big one. All right, notice I've got my symbols correct. Okay, no arrows, right? If you draw arrows on the ends of these, you are incorrect, and you will be marked incorrect as well because these are not lines. All right, let's talk about midpoint. Now, midpoint means middle, right? Middle point. I'm gonna write that down. Okay, so that's what midpoint means. So I'm going to redraw this diagram, but this time I'm going to put B in the middle. So you just kind of eyeball the middle. This is A, this is B, this is C. All right, so we have one long segment. We still have two parts. We still have part AB. We still have part BC. Okay, but B is a midpoint. That's what this is. All right, so here's several things that's going on. We're going to write AB. Please use the symbol above it. The measure of AB is equal to the measure of BC. In other words, this and this, these two segments are equal to each other in measure. So this is equal. This is when you measure them. Okay. And then when you're talking about them being congruent, we use a different signal or symbol. Okay. Okay. And then just remembered, okay, when you are talking about measurement, when you're talking about measuring, you just use your letters. Sorry about that. Okay. But when you're talking about being congruent, you need the symbol on top. Now, if you put the symbol on top all the time, that's not tragic. But if you leave the symbol off all the time, that is tragic. Okay. So congruent refers to the relationship. Measurement, the equal, this refers to the number of the measurement. So like, 3 inches or something like that. So that these are different. They mean different things, even though they're saying kind of the same thing. So now that we know this to be true, we can say AB plus BC, and that equals the whole thing, just like we did before, right? So AB plus BC equals AC. So just like we did before, we can also substitute BC. We can even substitute A. We can put two of the same. So we'll take AB and add AB to itself. That also is AC because these are the same, right? That we have over here. So these are the same, so these can be substituted. The other thing you can say is you can say that 2 times AB is also AC. So this is what we know to be true, okay? This is a substitution because we know that this is true. I can substitute, okay? And then this, if you repeatedly add something, you can just multiply. So that's just basic math right there. Okay, so now let's do this. All right. SK, this SK part is 13x minus 5. So from here to here, it's 13x minus 5. I want you to label that. It says that ky is 2x plus 9. So from here to here, 2x plus 9. And then it says from S to Y, so the whole thing from right there all the way to the end is 36 minus x. Okay, so what do we know? Well, let's write down what we know. We know that SK plus KY, if I add this and this together, I will get SY. I'll get the whole thing. So we're going to write this down. That statement is non-negotiable. Okay, now we're going to fill in. Instead of SK, I'm going to substitute that for 13x minus 5. Instead of KY, I'm going to substitute that. We want 2x plus 9 right there. And then we're going to have an equal sign. And SY is here. And instead of SY, we're going to substitute that. 36 minus x. So just like that. Now our math takes over. So the stuff that we just got done doing, now that is going to take over. This right here is the geometry. That's it. That's the geometry. Understanding that. Understanding that these two portions equal the whole thing when you add them together. Okay, and knowing what piece is what mathematically. The rest of this is algebra. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. On this side here, I have 13x right here, and I have 2x right here. Well, 13 plus 2 is 15x's. I have negative 5 and positive 9, or you can think in your mind, 9 take away 5, so that's 4. And then on this side, I have your 36 minus x. Okay, this is 15, this is negative 1. I see subtraction. We add 1x. We're going to do that on both sides. This becomes 0. 15 plus 1 more is 16. Bring down the 4. Bring down the equal sign. Bring down the 36. With my 4, I see addition, so now I subtract. Okay, these make 0. 16x comes down. Equal sign comes down. And 36, take away 4, is 32. This is multiplication. So to undo it, I divide. All right, 16 divided by 16 is 1, so I'm left with 1x. And then over here, 32 divided by 16 is 2. So there's my algebra, okay? So x is equal to, this is all algebra 1. All right, that's what all this is. This is the geometry. This is the algebra. All right, now we can go ahead and we can replace all these x's with the 2. All right, so SK, remember SK is 13x minus 5. So if I do 13 times 2 and I take away 5, well, 13 times 2 is 26. 26 take away 5 is 21. So SK is 21. For KY, it is 2 times the 2. So I'm just replacing where you see the x. I'm replacing that x with a 2. So 2 times 2 plus 9. Well, that's 4 plus 9, which is 13. And then for your SY, we've got 36, and we're going to take away 2. And 36 take away 2 is 34. Okay, so these are my answers of each of these pieces. Now the big question is, does 21 plus 13, does it equal 34? Well, actually it does. So because 34 equals 34, I know that I'm correct. All right, moving on to this one. Okay, so H is the midpoint. Remember, midpoint means the middle. So that means equal parts. That means this side is equal to this side. Okay, so here's what we know. We know that GH is equal to HI. We know that. So let's bring down the math. 5x plus 2 is equal to 9x minus 10. Now, 9x is bigger. This is a positive 5x. It should move over here. So I'm going to subtract 5x. That's a 0. Subtract 5x from that side. Okay, bring down my 2. Bring down my equals. 9 minus 5 is 4 x's. And then bring down negative 10. This is subtraction. Go ahead and add. Add 10 here and add 10 here. This is 0. 2 plus 10 is 12. That equals 4 x's. This is multiplication, so I divide. Okay, 4 divided by 4 is 1, so that leaves me with x. Bring down my equal sign. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So x is equal to 3. Well, what does that really mean for our geometry? So again, this is the geometry. Okay, and then all of this was the algebra. Okay, but then once you get this, you got to go put it back. It says find GH. Well, GH is equal to 5x plus 2. Well, I can replace this 3 right here. So GH is equal to 5 times 3 plus 2 more. So that means that GH is 17. Okay? All right. So some of the big ideas that you need to keep in mind is you need to write the geometry. Okay? This is non-negotiable. So what we mean by writing the geometry is you're writing this. Okay? You're writing this stuff. You need to write the geometry, non-negotiable. And then read and reread the question. Okay, so make sure that you know what it's asking you to find. This says find each value. Sometimes we'll have it set up for you. Other times we don't. That's why you have to go back and kind of read what are they asking you for. All right, then let's see. We've got some for you to practice. So Let's see, I'm going to put like a little answer bank, and I want you to practice. So then you can come back and make sure that you have the answers correct. If you don't have the answers correct, then you will need to check it. So here's these two for sure. And then let's see, try this one out. You should be able to get your X value. Okay, but again, you're showing all your work. I'm grading work. I'm not grading answers. I'm giving you answers. I'm grading your work to make sure that you read what it is asking you. Okay, and then, all right, I think that is, let's see, we got one more. So just the ones that I'm doing. By the way, that should say 4. Okay, so we're going to find the length of AC. So on these, you have to draw a picture. Okay, so I would draw the picture first. So here's A, here's B, here's C. So you're finding the length of the whole thing. Okay, then you can write the geometry. All right, so give those a try. And then here's some good challenges. All right, I'm going to go ahead and let you practice for a while, and then we'll meet again together to talk about all of the questions you have about this work.